పెడతాను వచ్చా.
Request all of you to please be seated. Our chief guest has already arrived and we will commence soon.
May I please request the dignitaries to take your seat? Please. Please be seated, ma'am. Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our chief guest, Shri Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs and Food and Public Distribution and Textiles, Government of India. May I request the dignitaries to please come up onto the stage. Mr. Srinivas Gerimila, Chair of the Industrial Development Committee. Mr. Suresh Kumar Singhal, Vice President FTCCI. Mr. Meela Jaydev, Senior Vice President FTCCI. Good evening to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome each one of you today at the interactive meeting on enhancing global opportunities for Indian manufacturer. A very warm welcome to our chief guest, Honorable Minister. Thank you so much, sir. We have interacted with you at various occasions at the webinar, and we kept on pushing you to visit the FTCCI. So thank you so much for gracing the occasion today. Can we have a big round of applause for sir, who's accepted our invitation? Honorable Minister, we are at the 105th year of journey catering to the needs of enterprises, MSMEs and large industry through our 20 expert committees. Our membership base is over 25,000, which includes association, district chambers and their members. We play a proactive role in the state of Telangana by way of raising the issues and concerns of the MSME to the government, both state and central level. We organize a lot of conferences, programs, B2B meetings, and of late we have started taking outbound trade delegation, recently to UAE, Thailand, and now next is to the Vietnam. So, and of course conduct a lot of skill programs to bridge the gap between the industry and the manpower requirement. So this year we're also venturing into the exhibition domain and would be organizing our first exhibition on innovation and technology in printing, packaging and food processing in the month of February 2023. So we will be happy to, sir, invite you once again for that program. And we're also doing one conference, which I think President will talk about it later. So our mission is to assist in creating a conducive business climate in the state of Telangana while relentlessly leading the business community towards a sustainable economic growth. Honorable Minister, before we begin the session, we would like to show a short film of FTCCI, which will give you an overview of our work.
1917, the year when a dedicated organization, the Deccan Chamber of Commerce, was formed to encourage trade and commerce activities. The historical journey of the organization has witnessed great transformation as per the changing needs of the industry and businesses. The Federation of Telangana Chambers of Commerce and Industry, FTCCI, a legacy of excellence, voice of the industry, representing interests of over 25,000 businesses of all sizes, sectors and regions, is empowering industry and trade of Telangana state. A world leader in pharma, a global hub for vaccine, home to all major MNCs, leader in IT exports, and emerging first stop of India. FTCCI advocates a pro-business environment, caters to the needs of MSMEs, budding entrepreneurs and traders through its advisory services in taxation, market information, industry-related issues, B2B connection. The Chamber has its nominees in the state-level advisory committees to help drive business productivity. FTCCI aids in providing certificate of origin for exporters, issues visa recommendation for business travels. The Federation imparts job skills through its dedicated skill center. It has adopted 14 government ITIs to improve the employability of students. With a uniquely global perspective, the FTCCI events reach a highly engaged audience, policymakers and stakeholders aiming towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. Come and be a part of this dynamic and proactive organization. Together, let's realize the vision for a progressive future.
Thank you so much. Before we begin the session, I request our President, Mr. Anil Agarwal, to present plan to our chief guest. I invite our President to welcome the gathering.
Good evening. Shri Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Union Minister for Industry and Commerce, Government of India, my fellow office bearers, Mila Jaydev ji, Senior Vice President, Suresh Kumar Singhal ji, Vice President, Srinivas Garimela ji, Chair of Industrial Development Committee, FTCCI, Khyati, our CEO. My special welcome to Srikar Reddy ji, Joint Secretary, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. Shri Vijay Kumar Jha, APS to Honorable Minister. Shri Vishnuvardhan Reddy ji, Joint Managing Director, TSTPC. Members of Managing Committee, past presidents, distinguished guests, invitees and participants, press and media, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all. Thank you, sir, for taking out time out of your busy schedule to interact with members of Federation. We are very honored to welcome you to the Federation House, and your presence has indeed made a memorable moment for all of us, sir. Hearty welcome to you once again. Sir, दिल से बहुत 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 बधाई सर. हमें गर्व है कि आप फेडरेशन आए हमारे लिए और संबोधित कर रहे हो हमारे मेंबर्स को. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर. India's economic performance, despite lowering of growth rate than predicted, is going strong. Everyone rejoiced when India overtook UK to become fifth biggest economy in the world. Sir, in the lighter vein, Rishi Sunak becoming the Prime Minister of Britain is double bonanza to India. Over the years, with the introduction of many initiatives to strengthen the nation's economy by the government, India has emerged as the fastest growing major economy in the world. Sir, now in fact, India is not engaging the world, but world is engaged with India. Sir, we commend the efforts of government for unveiling a $27 billion worth of PLI scheme for 13 sectors to help integrate Indian companies into the global value chains and tap into the opportunities. The PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, which brings together 16 ministries to enable integrated planning and coordinated implementation of infrastructure and connectivity, will surely boost the trade and commerce by lowering logistic costs significantly. Sir, the reduction of corporate tax for new manufacturing to 15% attracts investors from domestic as well as international players. Sir, over the recent decade, India's rapid economic growth has led to a substantial increase in demand for exports. Moreover, many of the government's flagship programs, including Make in India, Startup India, Digital India, Smart India Mission, and the Atal Mission for Regeneration and Urban Transformation, are aimed at creating immense opportunities in India. Sir, in 2020-21, we have clocked 40 billion transactions, online transactions, sir. And in the current last month, September alone, we have clocked 6.8 billion online transactions. That is the growth we are seeing. Sir, I would like to thank you for interacting with us virtually a few months ago in February and taking note of all the issues that was brought to your notice. We are grateful to you for addressing most of the issues and following up with the concerned department for taking necessary action. For instance, we requested for more container freight trains between ICDs of Hyderabad and seaports to remove the high cap on the number of wagons in a rake. We have received a communication from Concor expressing their willingness to start new freight trains, provided minimum load capacity is ensured on weekly basis. Sir, we are working on this by contacting our export members. Similarly, when the problem with anomaly in buying and selling rate of foreign exchange affecting the exporters was brought to your notice, your office has taken all the related data, sir, and we are looking forward some solution in this regard. The union government is very proactive in addressing the issues, and I would like to bring to your notice few challenges faced by Indian industry. We appreciate introduction of ease of doing business ranks among the states to promote healthy competition between the states and create business-friendly atmosphere, thereby improving India's overall rank. The effort of Indian government showed results as India jumped from 134 in 2014 to 63 in World Bank's ease of doing business ranking. Sir, however, the parameters taken to rank the states do not reflect the performance of that states in its true sense, as DPIIT is the only taking the information on whatever particular measure or policy is implemented or not. We suggest that the ranking criteria should not be based on yes or no of the measure, but how effectively the initiative, policy, promotion are implemented and the outcomes. We request the Honorable Minister, please give a thought to it as the department is under you. Also, there are serious supply chain disruptions in the recent years, and the most affected country is India. These disruptions have affected Indian industry in a substantial way, more particularly the manufacturing sector. For a country like India with vast demographic dividend, increasing the manufacturing base and share in GDP is essential to create employment to large number of semi-skilled and unskilled workers. Sir, in March 2022, in a webinar of DPIIT, you have asked, how can we really take our manufacturing contribution to the GDP to 25%? Can we increase our global trade to 10% of the size of our economy? How to increase the share of exports to more than 25% of the GDP? But also you have stated at the same time that they are doable. We also believe and confident that the targets are achievable provided government pays attention to manufacturing sector, more so to MSME sector. Sir, in this regard, we make an appeal to announce 1 year, 1 calendar year or 1 fiscal year as the manufacturing year with quality and reliability. This will push all organizations to work in synergy, giving a big thrust to manufacturing sector, thus creating an ecosystem to make India a manufacturing hub. Sir, whenever we visit any mall or any departmental store, on some of the products we see, it's for export purpose. It is for exporters, for what do you say, exporters, export quality. So what is that? We don't understand, sir. So, sir, one more request from our side. We are having on 23rd November International Conference on Shipping and Logistics. Sir, we request your presence as a chief guest on that day, sir. This is from at HICC, we are having at HICC, sir. Sir, on behalf of management of Federation, members of all our Federation, and on my own behalf, I once again thank you for giving us an opportunity to welcome you to this Federation House, sir. Sir, always we have admired you. Few people, few politicians, few ministers are there which we admire, sir. You are one of them. Sir, you are very proactive. So looking forward. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite the chair of the Industrial Development Committee, Mr. Srinivas Gerimilla, to give the presentation on the issues and challenges.
Warm welcome, sir. Piyush Goyal ji, Honorable Minister, our President Anil Agarwal ji, our Senior Vice President Meela Jaydev ji, our Vice President Singhal ji, CEO Khyati ji, past presidents, MC members, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, again a warm welcome. I'll straightway get into presentation, sir. It's 9 slides, probably going to take 9 minutes. It's about issues which are not burning, but issues that needs to be ironed out. Couple of policies that we would recommend your ministry to take up, and a few other suggestions, sir. first one is, as you know, Telangana is the pharma hub of the country and probably is going to be the hub of the globe. Now, we have this ROTTEP scheme, which is not given for pharma. I remember reading a news a month ago, sir, that you are keen on having that done. So this may become redundant 2-3 months later. But having said that, I put it deliberately so that it comes into cognizance for our members who are standing here, who are sitting here.
You can take the credit also.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And similarly, this is one that out of all the issues that we talked about on February 4th, this particular issue we're talking about, ROTTEP scheme for mover. Mover is becoming more and more prominent and important for people like us, for people in, especially I'm talking about towns like, cities like Hyderabad, Nagpur. We have a lot of those warehouses and we have a lot of the small-time importers who are getting goods, doing some value addition and exporting. So this mover scheme is becoming more and more important. It wasn't so a couple of years ago, but after having, you revamped the mover policy 2 years back, this has become important. So I request you to again take it up and extend this scheme to movers. Sorry, sir. Go ahead. Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Next one is on anti-dumping. So this is a representation or a request from the textile segment. From the textile segment in Telangana. It is not big, but a significant presence of textile mills here. Now what has happened is the cotton prices have risen and the sharp fluctuations have led many mills to shift to synthetic fiber. While PSF has 5% import duty, synthetic yarns have zero duty, especially from SAFTA countries. This has led to an import of 50,000 metric tons a year of synthetic yarn, causing severe distress to mills. So we request that either you make PSF also zero duty or, impose duty on synthetic yarn. Either of these, sir. Next one is really, in fact, it's a flip of what I've talked about in the last slide. Flip in the sense that there we asked you to put some duty on synthetic yarn. We are asking here to remove export duty on non-basmati rice. Now this is, the representation has come in a different way. One is either we have it removed totally or keep a threshold limit. Especially when last couple of days back when we had a longer discussion with the rice exporters, they had one thing to say that the brand of rice in India is known as either basmati or non-basmati. Basmati gets branded twice. You call it basmati rice and you call it non-basmati rice. Whereas we don't have branding for other varieties, like in Thailand we have jasmine, we have halloumi and sushi in Japan. So what we would like to do, anywhere a PDS scheme is generally for rice which is of, 30 or 40 of $300 below. We would like you to have a threshold level, sir, for non-basmati rice. That is one. Second thing is to have HSN codes for different rice varieties. Because we are not getting branding. For example, in Telangana, we have something called Chilni Mutyalu rice, which is pretty premium, which we pay almost 100 rupees per kg. But unfortunately, the brand is not known. It is just non-basmati. So we would like to have separate HSN code for the varieties of rice. So one thing, in the branding perspective, we get some mileage. India gets the mileage. And also respect to other things. Again, representation of the same thing from the rice exporters. They would, in case this export duty is not removed, they would like the GST input and ROTTEP scheme should be within this export duty. So in case we're not removing that, they would like to have this as a fallback option, sir. The next matter doesn't come under your ministry, sir, but would like your good officers to be influencing, either finance ministry or the GST council. This particular thing is relevant to pharma industry. The raw material used for pharma industry is APIs, attract 18%, whereas the finished goods at 12% is always a credit for the pharma industry, which they're not able to avail. So this anomaly, of course, cannot be corrected unless the GST Council takes it up. We request your ministry to take it up with the GST Council and see if we can influence something there. Similar, two more matters on for your good officers' intervention. One is set off an accumulated GST credit on plant and machinery for 100% export-oriented units. By definition, when we say 100% export-oriented unit, they don't have domestic sales, so that GST credit that they get on the huge investment they do on plant and machinery, that remains there. It doesn't get set off. So, and second thing is on the MAT. This perhaps we can take it up with the Finance Ministry, where though income tax is exempted for SEZ units as per original SEZ Act, and due to introduction of MAT, SEZ units in 2008, there's an accumulation of MAT credit. In this regard, there's a representation by export trade that the said MAT be removed for SEZ units to avoid financial burden. We seek your favorable intervention with the Finance Ministry to influence their decision. And finally, a couple of suggestions, sir. PLI scheme beneficiaries to source some percentage of their BOM or bill of material or RM locally. This is not for all the 13 sectors. Some PLI schemes have that caveat of procuring locally, but not all. We request that this caveat be introduced so that the trickle-down effect of PLI scheme is felt by MSMEs and other industries. The next one is mini PLI schemes. This also I saw an announcement a couple of months ago. So we are still waiting for that, sir, for mini PLI scheme for MSMEs, especially for medium and small, so that a trickle-down effect is really realized at the ground level instead of remaining at the top, sir. And finally, sir, I would be concluding that with our dear PM's mantra for ease of doing business. He said reform, perform, and transform. So in this, a lot of these issues that we talked about are, I wouldn't say bottlenecks, but perhaps certain amount of roadblocks and speed breakers. So if these can be ironed out, obviously ease of doing business ranking will come to 40s, which is in the top 20% of the world. We're at 62 now. Thank you, sir. On that note, thank you so much for your patient hearing.
Keep the whole thing interactive.
I invite my colleague, Ms. Sujata, the Deputy CEO. Few of them have already given her the questions. So over to you, Sujata.
But allow them to raise their hands.
Thank you, Khyati. Good evening, sir. Warm welcome to you. And first of all, we have a question from Mr. Venkat Jasti, Chairman and CEO, Suven Pharmaceuticals Limited, concerning the pharma sector.
Good evening, sir. As Anil said, you're the only savior for us because nobody listens to us, especially the finance ministry. Make in India is a great initiative by this government, but it has an anomaly in the sense when you want to make in India, you need to have innovation too, sir. When you want the innovation, the R&D is a very part of it. We used to have 150% weighted average retention, and that is taken away, especially in pharma, where we do a lot of patents. Even the global patent is not covered those days. I mean, these are kind of anomalies are there, and we don't know where to look for. I think we want your good offices to look into not only for pharma, but all other R&D initiatives to be taken care of, going back to the earlier days of at least 150% weighted average reduction. That would be a great help. Then only these make in India will be a great success. Thank you, sir.
Sir, the next question is from Mr. Gautam Chanjain, Chairman and Managing Director of Pokarna Limited.
Good evening, sir. I want to bring my problem again to you today. Last time on the webinar, I did mention. Today, I would like to take 2 minutes of yours. I'm into a different business, sir. We innovate design in stones. And I am only doing export business last 30 years. I don't do any domestic business. 99% is coming from exports. What I do is use Indian raw material called quartz, mix it with polyester resin and pigments, and we design new ideas. And I'm proud to say that we have a strong brand in Europe and America as #1 product in the world. My problem is, when we do this research and innovation, we go through a lot of trials, and I accumulate a lot of trial slabs in my factory. I've been taking up this issue last 15 years, but I don't get any answer for this. Fortunately, about 6 years back, the DGFT heard me and realized that, yeah, this is a real big problem, and we'll exempt you for what is your inventory. And we gave 30,000 slabs inventory accumulated over 15 years. There's no place, no finance is accumulated in dead stock. And this product I can only sell at a minimum value cap because that was put for discouraging Chinese imports. But since I am an SEZ, I come under the same category. Now that product I am willing to sell at 100 rupees, but the tax alone is 150 rupees. So this is getting accumulated again and again, and they told me you need to come to DGFT every time you want exemption. When I went again, and they said, no, we don't take any physical papers now, you put it online. But no response, and I've been calling reminders again and again, but nobody responds there. And I'm your student because you're looking after commerce and exports, and I cannot go to anybody else other than you. So I need a resolution for this, sir, because I have 69,000 slabs accumulated in my factory.
What do they go for? What use?
This value cap should be removed from SEZ units, sir. With value cap was for discouraging Chinese imports. Because I am in SEZ, I am considered as a foreign territory.
You are willing to pay the duty?
Of course, we pay GST. Sir, I don't
Yes, you
import
have to
anything.
pay import duty also.
I don't import anything, sir.
No, if you sell in the domestic market.
Then we pay GST, no, sir. Once I sell in domestic market, then pay GST.
Import tariff also you'll have to.
No, that is the problem, no, sir. This is the defective material. So there is no question of import tariff because I am using 100% Indian raw material.
Achha. So you have not imported anything?
No.
Then there is no import.
I don't import anything, sir.
Fine.
No, machinery what I import.
We'll sort it out.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Sir, the next question will be from Mr.
This is a
Vimlesh.
practical thing. And make a policy for similar. You don't sort out his problem. Make a policy framework for everything.
So the next will be from Mr. Vimlesh Gupta, President of Telangana and Andhra Plastic Manufacturers Association.
Good evening, sir. As you know, plastic industry is facing one burning issue, the plastic waste management rules and the extended producer responsibility. Of course, everyone must be thinking that this is an issue of the Environment Ministry. But sir, you were kind enough on earlier occasions to intervene and involve the environment. And then the Environmental Minister, Prakash Javadekar ji, we had a couple of interactive meetings online. Of course, we are not looking for any rollback because we know that is not possible and we need it.
Single-use plastic.
Yes, single use. More so, I am talking about extended producer responsibility here. Because fortunately the number of items banned in PWM, that is plastic waste management rules, are very minimum. And the industry is now it is accommodating that business environment also of the ban. What is happening here, sir, is the extended producer responsibility.
Collect the waste.
Yeah. We have come to know that you were very instrumental in exempting the micro and small sector out of the EPR, that is the extended producer responsibility, but that happened only for the brand owners. The people who are making this, that is the producer category, these are the industries which are mostly from MSMEs only. And as you know, sir, we are burdened with a lot of compliances, be it GST, TDS, TCS, and there will be a lot of compliance issues.
So what do you mean by brand is exempted?
Brand owners are the users of the packaging material, sir. So we have come to understand that the Commerce Ministry, especially your ministry, was very instrumental in exempting this category from the EPR, that is the extended producer responsibility, for micro and small industries in particular. So only the users of micro and small category have been exempted. My request is that the producers also from the small category should be given exemption to save them of the burden of compliances, sir. And also we have been requesting that this EPR thing, actually
मुझे लगता है किसी की उम्र बड़ी लंबी है. I took out the phone to call my colleague, Environment Minister. The last message I had from him is at 6:56 p.m. Just 10 minutes ago. Just a welcome. He had sent me something, I responded. Shall I set up a meeting for you to meet him and explain this?
Sure. We'll be very grateful. Our main request was the polymer manufacturers. There are only 10 of them.
तुम्हारी लंबी उम्र है यार, अभी तुमने वेलकम मैसेज भेजा और मैं यहाँ तेलंगाना में इंडस्ट्री के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहा हूँ. उन्होंने कोई एनवायरमेंट का प्लास्टिक का एक्सटेंडेड प्रोड्यूसर ऑब्लिगेशन का इशू उठाया कि कोई ब्रांडेड प्रोडक्ट्स पे एग्जाम है, दूसरों पे नहीं है, तो इनको दिल्ली बुला लो एक बार. तारीख को तब कैबिनेट है, उसमें कुछ लोग दो तारीख को जाता है. आप टाइम अंदाजन कैबिनेट 3 बजे मेरा विजय आपके पीएससी कोऑर्डिनेटर. They are fully seized of this matter and they've taken some decisions. He said his officials will also meet you and they'll sort out whatever I have.
Thank you so much.
विजय जी का लड़का पीएससी का नंबर वगैरह देके उसको बोल दो इससे गुप्ता आएंगे 2 तारीख की बात होगी.
President sir, as I said earlier also on one occasion for the same thing, Honorable Minister sir was kind enough, but we had a meeting, then immediately he set up a joint meeting with the Environment Ministry officials and he himself was also there. Thank you so much, sir. So I'll keep you posted also, sir.
Sir, and once again FTCCI will get highlighted.
Thank you so much.
Please remember there is no free lunch. अगले साल चुनाव आने वाला है और तेलंगाना में भी डबल इंजन की सरकार की सख्त आवश्यकता है.
So now I invite Mr. Mahesh Desai, Chairman of Engineering Export Promotion Council, Hyderabad.
And the captain of the export industry. इनका सबसे highest export है EPC का.
Sir, welcome to Hyderabad, the city of Charminar and Falls. You are one of the shining.
भाग्य लक्ष्मी मंदिर भी है.
आप आने से हमारा भाग्य खुल जाएगा. Sir, my question, you have been highlighting engineering questions to you now and again, and you are aware about that. My question is, there are a lot of small-scale industries developed around Hyderabad in defense and avionics sector. Very complicated components. They need some support or some PLI scheme or some scheme. They are doing very well. Some of them are exporting their subsystems to France, but does not. And they are all highly educated, came back from States, and they are running the industry. So there I need your blessings. The second point is labor laws. It's a joint between state and the center. Already codification has been carried out, but we need common codification to all over the country. Something of that. So these are very essential and very necessary to improve manufacturing, particularly for MSME sector. The other, I won't finance and all that, you know of it. I won't raise here. But these two are very, very essential for my state, Telangana.
वो लेबर मिनिस्टर, एनवायरमेंट मिनिस्टर सेम है, आप उनके साथ चले जाइए.
ठीक है सर, फिर मैं थैंक यू सर.
Thank you, sir. So, the last question is from Mr. Durga Prasad. He is from DP Chocolate Private Limited.
Chocolate?
Yes.
Good evening, sir. I'm into cocoa bean processing and chocolate manufacturing. We are number 2 in India, sir.
I hope you export also.
We export small quantities. Actually, India needs about 1,20,000 tons of cocoa beans. And India grows only 20,000 tons of cocoa beans, mostly in Kerala and Andhra. Remaining 1,00,000 tons of cocoa beans, we don't import directly because import duty is there. We import cocoa powder and cocoa butter from FTA countries, from Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia. What they do is, these countries, FTA countries, they export cocoa beans free of duty, they export to India free of duty. Whereas in my case, actually, we want to process cocoa beans, I have to pay 15% duty, import duty I have to pay. So that means in my own country, I'm limited. I can't compete with FTA countries. By paying duty of 15 or 16%, how can I compete with Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia? See, for example, Singapore, one factory processes about 70,000 tons of cocoa beans. India has about 20,000 tons of cocoa beans. I process about 11,000 tons of cocoa beans. That means 58% of cocoa beans I process in India. My company is a very small company compared to Singapore company. Singapore is a small tiny nation. They don't grow cocoa beans. Malaysia also, they don't grow cocoa beans. One factory processes 70,000 tons of cocoa beans. In Malaysia, neighboring country, they also do not grow cocoa beans. They process 2.5 lakh tons of cocoa beans. So what I request is that the inverted factories there on cocoa beans. If you remove that one, probably India can save about 250,000 crores per year on a part of value addition. And Indonesia, sir, they produce about 1.5 lakh tons of cocoa beans. They import 3.5 lakh tons of cocoa beans from outside, and they export to other countries. Our economy, we can compare with Indonesia. What happens is, suppose we encourage Indians also to import cocoa beans free of duty, we can become like Indonesia.
What is the price per ton?
Price?
Per ton of cocoa beans?
About 2 lakh rupees, roughly 2.2 lakhs.
Per ton?
Per ton.
And imported price? This is domestic price.
Domestic price of 2.2 lakhs. Import price I have to pay about 16.5% import duty.
No, but if you remove the import duty, what is the basic price at which it is?
I think it keeps varying from time to time, sir.
No, why I am asking is...
Presently it's about 190, 200 rupees.
The duty must be to protect the price that they get farmers get.
Correct. No, farmers means all the farmers are protected when importing cocoa powder and butter free of duty. Farmers are not protected at all. So this is, suppose in about 5 to 10 years time, we can process similar to Indonesia, and we can save about 1.5 crores of 1,500 crores of value addition.
The production cannot be increased in India.
No, it's not possible, sir, because land is expensive here. Even the cocoa products demand is growing, whereas our Indian crops are not growing at all. It's just stagnant almost.
Why? Farmers don't make enough money on that.
Money is there, but it is needs a supply temperature. It grows nearly just near the equator basically. Kerala is most wicked place. Mostly cocoa beans are grown in near West Africa and South America. So we must depend on our imports.
Well, sir, if you take the data of last 5 years, having between 18 to if you take the production data of India of last 5 years, we produce something between 18,000 tons to 22,000 tons.
He said that.
Okay, same I was trying to tell you. So despite of giving incentive by government of India to the farmers, it's not increasing. And if you talk about category alone, they are growing by 20% plus. So CAGR of last 10 years is 20% plus. And I tell you, next 10 years also is going to grow by 10%, 20% plus. So market is expecting. Currently, we are importing roughly around 100,000 tons of cocoa, 5 products. Yes, boss. So this, if you give us a parity with Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, we are not only in a position to feed our own country, we will also be able to export to the country. So that we will be able to get the funding.
We want level playing field, sir, nothing else.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so there are few representations that we wanted to submit, sir. And Steel Association, you have a representation to be submitted? Yes.
Interactive ही रखो more useful है. भाषण सुनकर तो थक गए होंगे politicians.
Sir, good evening, sir. Welcome to Hyderabad, the city of Bhagwan Lakshmi Temple. As you say, we are looking forward to have a double engine growth in Hyderabad too in the next election. Sir, I represent steel industry. I am the general secretary. The steel industry, we are manufacturing 3 million ton. The steel industry is 3 million ton in Telangana. We are going to with an exchequer of 3,000 crore of GST and employment of 50,000 plus. So, we are having a small problem of phosphorus in the steel element, carbon sulfur phosphorus. Phosphorus, as you see, we have a Bellary belt. There is a little bit small percentage of more phosphorus in the steel. So, as per BI standard, we have to have 0.05% of phosphorus maximum. So, we request to increase to 0.65 of phosphorus to enable
the international standard.
0.05 international standard.
The moment we don't align ourselves with that, it will become a big problem.
So the quality, because we have been forced by the mines people to use low grade of iron ore, which we are making use of the iron ore. The iron inherited for phosphorus in the iron ore is more in the Bellary belt, sir.
That will be beneficiation.
Yeah, definitely beneficiation and pelletization is there. Even after that, there is a phosphorus which is inherited or cannot be removed.
See, friends, I like this interactive format. In fact, it's more interesting. I learn a lot. I get a lot of inputs, food for thought, and a lot of homework also. But you'll have to bear in mind, in fact, I was thinking on what theme I should engage with you. Quality is something which is completely, we cannot compromise on it. It's completely essential. Our biggest problem as a nation has been our inability to have one quality products which are international quality and which is sold both in India and abroad, equally good quality products. The day we, across the country, we stop having this for export production only, which you mentioned, yeah. The day we stop that, country will fast track onto the pathway of becoming a developed nation. So I fully endorse you. You actually gave me food for thought when you spoke, because that's my pet theme these days. I must have said it at least 50 times, Shikhar. Just this point, that this word for export quality, for export purpose or export quality, हमारे जहन से निकल जाना चाहिए, माइंड से निकल जाना चाहिए. और अगर प्रोसेस का इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड कुछ है for in steel, I cannot dilute that just because Bellary has some low grade iron ore. You will have to find a technical solution to make that.
It contains more of phosphorus. It doesn't. It is an old theory which is going on from long ways, sir. I think my presentation will spell out.
आपके मैं BIS और स्टील मिनिस्ट्री में मीटिंग करा दूंगा. अल्टीमेटली ये स्टैंडर्ड स्टील मिनिस्ट्री सेट करती है, एंड वी ओनली नोटिफाई. एंड I would in fact urge all of you who are present here what the gentleman, somebody mentioned, I don't know who was mentioning, you mentioned about the effort to stop low-grade material coming into India, particularly from some of our neighboring countries, can only be successful if, as a nation, we accept quality control orders, quality control standards. If we have QCOs, and by the way, that's the way the developed world stops substandard or sub-quality material coming into their country. In a way, it's a non-tariff barrier which must be hurting many of you. You're not able to sell your material in many markets because of QCOs which we fail to sometimes meet. And the only way forward for us as a nation is that we accept more and more QCOs. We bring that culture of quality in our system. Believe me, quality is the cheapest thing going. Highest return, lowest cost. एंड शुरू में थोड़ा दिक्कत लगती है, एक बार आपको आदत पड़ जाए, आपका वेस्टेज कम होता है, आपकी एफिशिएंसी सुधरती है, ट्रस्ट, यू बिकम अ ट्रस्टेड. Start accepting quality as our fundamental, as they say, raison d'etre, the reason of our being in business. We can transform India's future. And I'll give you a small example. Jewelry. 21 years ago, India established standards for jewelry, and we decided as a nation we'll implement hallmarking and assaying. Many of you may not know it, but if there's anybody from the jewelry trade here, he may probably be aware of it. There's a gentleman here. 21 years ago. But for 21 years, we could not implement it because there was no dialogue between government and the stakeholders. Government always tried to force it down. Stakeholders had their own concerns which were not being addressed. Last 2 years now, we've been in dialogue. I've literally had 50 meetings with the gem and jewelry and diamond business on this subject. We heard whatever were their concerns, whatever were their problems. We addressed those problems. Today, while the whole country still doesn't have hallmarking because the centers are not there everywhere, roughly 270 or 280 districts, we have hallmarking centers where we have implemented hallmarking. And you'll be happy to know that nearly 90% of the jewelry sold in India today is hallmarked jewelry. 90%. In less than 1 year. एक साल ही हुआ है ना implement करे?
Yes, sir.
In 1 year, 90% of the jewelry. Now, that is the trust that is now created between customer and the suppliers of jewelry. It's good for both. I'm also Consumer Affairs Minister. My duty is to ensure your protection as consumers. And while all of you are big in business, the biggest person is consumer. We all know that. Mahatma Gandhi ji also said customer is king. And while industry may have crores of people, 130 crore Indians are consumers or customers. In that respect, I think if we all start accepting quality, and like they did, and of late I'm getting more and more people coming and telling me that even though hallmarking is not compulsory, let's say below 40 lakhs or some such turnover, or hallmarking is not compulsory in districts which don't have assaying center, there also voluntarily people are taking license. Because now customer has become demanding. He wants quality. He wants the assayed products. And that's the future of India. So I would urge all of you in your respective industry, you should be putting pressure on us. Please put a quality control order. That way your competition from poor quality imports will be able to stop, give you a larger share of the market. Quality will be respected and recognized and rewarded in India. अभी 3R मूवी आई थी ना कोई 3R ट्रिपल आर तो वही हाल होगा आपके बिजनेस का जो 3R का हुआ. I'm told it's a blockbuster hit, right? Your products will also be respected, recognized and rewarded.
Sir, I just want to thank you
from the core of the heart, from the gem and jewelry industry, for taking up the issues, listening to us, and bridging the gap between the trade and the consumer. And you have done a fantastic job, and you were instrumental in solving all the issues. We are really, really thankful to you, sir.
You should be heard loud and clear.
Sir, myself Manish Goyal.
With the mic.
Sir, myself Manish Goyal from Hyderabad, from Aishwarya Exports. We do non-basmati exports from Hyderabad, sir. I am on behalf of farmers, associations and rice millers, I am requesting, try to remove the duty of 20% because they are facing a lot of problems. And requesting to create separate HS code of preferred varieties, which are doing 40 to 50 varieties from south. And since 50 to 60 years we are doing, sir, business is totally hampered. And in customs we are facing problem because of this backward rice testing. It is taking 20 days, sir. And even banks have stopped the sending the document because of duty is not reflecting in the ice gate.
You know, the issue was flagged off by in the presentation also. Look, I am Commerce Minister, so obviously I want to increase exports. I'm not at all happy about putting an export duty or restraint on any export. Ideally, in an ideal world, I would like all of you to export more and more. And until 1 month ago, we were in fact encouraging more export of rice. But bear in mind, the whole world is today in a crisis. And it is my duty also as I said, as Consumer Affairs Minister and as the Food Minister to ensure the food security of India. I'm sure you wouldn't like a situation that we export our rice more and more abroad. And tomorrow there is a huge runaway inflation in rice in India, or we'll end up with shortages for our own brothers and sisters, particularly for the poor. And I'm giving almost, as in the government and all of you are giving, I'm sorry, let me correct myself. Under Prime Minister Modi's decision to support the poor and needy and the low-income families, 80 crore people who are already getting Food Security Act food grain, about 5 kilos per person or 35 kilos for the very, very poor Antyodaya families. Thanks to Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, we've doubled it. Additional 5 kilos to 80 crore people, which means I need 40 lakh tons every month additional food grain. We already needed 50 lakh. In addition to that, we need 40 lakh more. So 90 lakh tons of food grain, wheat and rice we require every month. So in a year, kitna ho gaya? 1,080 lakh tons. 1,080 lakh ton. सालाना गरीबों को लगभग फ्री में, बाकी का भी वो राइस के लिए 3 रुपया, वीट के लिए 2 रुपया, कोर्स ग्रेन के लिए 1 रुपया, वो एनएफएसए में आधे पे लगता है. पीएमजीकेवाई में तो फ्री मिलता है. 5 kilo per person, 80 crore. Now, aren't you happy as taxpayers that your money is being put to good use to serve the poor? But at the same time, when you look at the situation, Bihar, UP, we've had heavy rains, because of which there's a fear. It's not yet final. There's a fear there could be some lower production. I have to build up stocks considering the food security of India. Prices, fortunately, in rice have remained stable, and therefore we did not stop the export. But as a precautionary, temporary measure, we have done it. Procurement is going on right now. Procurement has been good so far, so I don't hopefully see any possibility of a problem. As the few months or 1 or 2 months pass and the whole procurement figures come out before me, and I get to see the sowing figures in particularly UP, Bihar, where there was unseasonal rain last 2 weeks back, I think then we'll be able to take a call on this.
So one point, sir. 2 years before also I have said in our state government that our farmers and exporters can fetch $100 to $150 per metric ton extra like highline. When we go, multiple farmers we take in contract farming or big farming, the pesticides will also come. In Dubai we are facing the same problem, and in like highline, long grain rice is 6 mm above. If we go with any of our associations and do it massive farming, then we can get good results.
My friend, you're going back in history 2 years, you remember we made an effort to bring in modern contemporary laws so that our farmers' income could be increased, and they would have benefited significantly. The country and our farmers would have benefited. Unfortunately, a set of farmers, not the whole country, just a set of farmers, we were not able to bring on board and make them understand the benefits and the virtue of it. And like a listening government and a responsive government, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi himself then gave them their ear, gave them his ear, and you know the whole situation. So we are at least responsive, as the gentleman said. We listen to all stakeholders. Sadly, despite our best efforts, they were either unwilling to understand or we could not make them understand. Now there is a committee which is seized of the whole matter. Let's see. For the present, I think in Telangana still contract farming is allowed probably. Is allowed in most parts of India. The state laws allow it. Yeah, so that is something we will have to educate the farmers. We have Krishi Vigyan Kendras, KVKs, which are doing this job. But I think exporters, industry, all of us also can play a role to educate our farmers that really, you might have heard Prime Minister Modi at least has given 10 speeches in the last 4-5 months promoting natural farming. He's also been telling our Indian people that we should go more and more for organic farming. It's good for the soil, it's good for the country, it will save us in the future. So on our part, my friend, at the highest level, imagine Prime Minister himself spending 3 hours in talking to farmers about natural farming. I think you might have seen on television. Acharya Devvrat, the Honorable Governor of Gujarat, he's a pioneer in natural farming. उनके साथ प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी ने कितने कॉन्फ्रेंसेस किए, कितने टेलीविजन पे इंटरेक्शन किया टू एजुकेट आवर फार्मर्स. आप भी थोड़ा इसमें योगदान हाथ बटाइए so that Goyals can also play a little bit of a role.
Yeah, sir. 1 minute. Sir, this is from our own federation side. We are asking for your support. See, our FTCCI, generally regional associations are not registered as vendors in the MAI scheme. And we requested the Ministry of Commerce market access initiative scheme, sir, wherein you give funds to the associations to conduct the programs or conduct the exhibitions and all these things, big events, to scale up these things. So we also applied, and fortunately with the support of Mr. Srikar Reddy, we got it registered, but it is in a very small way. We got sanction for conducting the exim programs in 3 districts and plus Hyderabad. Sir, we are very thankful for that, but we want your support to apply for more schemes and then get more funds from your department, so that ministry, so that we can scale up our own programs and then do it in a better way.
So let's do a barter. I was worried you're going to invite me for one more program. So as long as you're not inviting me for any other program.
No, if you sanction, we will invite you, sir.
As long as you don't invite me for another program. You have your own Srikar Reddy. That's why I brought Mr. Reddy with me today.
Yeah, sir. Sir, he is always very supportive to FTCCI.
Let's examine this. We must, in fact, we must try and decentralize. The big associations already have enough money. We must support the smaller ones all over the country. We'll look into this.
Sir, yes, sir.
And actually take the smaller exporters and the people from the grassroots. Good point.
Yes.
We'll certainly look at that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I hope you can take 2 more questions. Yes.
I think we just keep it interactive. भाषण तो मैं बहुत दे चुका हूँ.
We want to hear you also, sir.
I have another program. People might be waiting.
So just 2 more questions, sir. One is Mr. Anirudh Gupta from Jindal Blades.
Hi, sir. Good evening. Before introducing myself, just one question. Anything coming in contact with food, like steel, should it be carbon steel, MS steel, or stainless steel? Maybe anyone, sir. Stainless steel?
Stainless.
Anyone's answer, sir. This is regarding bread slicer blade. Sent you emails twice. Bread cutting blades throughout India. Carbon steel rusted blades are used, and they are reground 12 times each blade. A lower quality blade which is reground 12 times, and the metal particles are entering bread, sir. I was waiting for your appointment last 2 months in Delhi. I'm in touch with FSSAI. I spoke to your PA, and so there are two ministries directly. One is Bureau of Indian Standards. There is no standard as of now. There is a standard for kitchen knives with a handle, but that maybe a family of 5 or 10 people eat. What India eats, there is no standard for that. And then there is FSSAI under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. FSSAI is not responding properly, sir. I'm not blaming them, but there is no response from them of any sort. I sent them questions, I had my research. The blades are being changed every 6 hours. The 6 hours every blade is changed. This is the biggest company in India, starts with a B. I don't want to name that company, so because they are my customers. This is an article. So the metal is entering bread, and I have collected rusted samples from most of the bread factories. Not a single manufacturer of blade is making stainless steel blades in India. Not a single, sir. And they don't even have knowledge what is stainless steel, what is carbon steel, what is 10.5.
Say, if you want me to add to my woes, unfortunately, stainless steel also is a misunderstood word. Stainless steel can range from 300 grade to 316 to 316L to many grade, whatever. So unfortunately, we say stainless steel utensil, and you'll find it rusting because it may be hardly having any nickel in it. So I think that's another thing which has been an area of angst for me personally. You are adding a new dimension to that. But we'll take it up. It's a good point.
Rusts over a longer period of time. Carbon steel can rust, and bread is 60% moisture. Acidity regulators and all chemicals are added to bread. Every recipe of every brand is different.
No, good point you have raised. I'm glad you have not taken any names. समझने वाले समझ गए, मैं भी समझ गया.
Sir, इस साल 2 import substitute products दिए, इन्हीं companies को दिए हैं. So they have stopped importing. There was not a single manufacturer of band slicer blades in India. It took me 2 years and a lot of investment. I gave them that product this year to the biggest companies. So I'm trying to.
Good point. Thank you. Thank you for flagging it off. We'll take it up immediately. Tell Pramod Tiwari to.
Yeah, last question, sir. This is from Vamshi Krishna Industries, Mr. Narayana.
Thakur, isko aap bhi dekhna industry se. It's a very critical thing. And maybe we need to have FSCI also stipulate that anybody using blades for cutting of any food item, it could be apples for juice or anything, oranges, apples. It's a very critical thing.
Good evening, sir. Hello.
You've understood the point, my friend. You've understood.
My name is.
You are saying what?
Good evening, sir. My name is Hon'ble Narayan. मैं चावल के बारे में आपसे कुछ पूछना चाह रहा हूँ. आप जो B2B एक्सपोर्ट जो गवर्नमेंट टू गवर्नमेंट कर रहे हैं, वो सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर टर्नओवर वालों को आपको चांस दे रहे हैं.
नहीं, हम नहीं तय करते हैं B2B में, G2G में जो गवर्नमेंट टू गवर्नमेंट होता है, हम नहीं तय करते हैं कि कौन बेचेगा. जो नीडी गवर्नमेंट है या कोई जो मित्र देश है जिसको हम अलाउ करते हैं, वो तय करता है वो किससे खरीदना चाहते हैं. सरकार हम नहीं बोलते हैं इनसे खरीदो या इनसे खरीदो या इनसे खरीदो, हम उसमें नहीं पड़ते. नेफेड राइस खरीदता होगा तो पीडीएस के लिए लेता होगा सर. अच्छा, मुझे जानकारी नहीं है. नेफेड मेरे अंडर नहीं है, एग्रीकल्चर के अंडर है. आप एक अगर पत्र दें तो हम उसको पता कर लेंगे. वो नहीं हो पाएगा अभी. आज के दिन अभी कोई परिवर्तन नहीं होगा. जब होगा, जब पर्याप्त मात्रा में हमारे पास कॉन्फिडेंस आ जाएगा कि यहाँ पे इनफ अनाज है. भाई साहब, वो नहीं होने वाला है. डोंट वरी, जो भी सुझाव उझाव आया है $500 है, वो अभी कुछ नहीं होने वाला है.
No, I think we will stop it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever has the queries, please send us by mail.
Last
We
year.
can definitely forward it to the minister's office.
Good evening, sir. I got connected with you when you said quality, confidence, and trust. And I'm Akhil Kakirala. I'm an exporter of cotton bales, and I missed you in the cotton conference on 18th of October in CIA. So basically, sir, we have few concerns as a cotton exporter. The first and the foremost important thing is if any LC is not opened by a buyer outside India, in terms of the trade because of market price, because cotton is being very volatile last year. And what is that remedy that we have as a cotton exporter? Is one question. Do we have any cell to raise complaint and get back the value as per the cotton contract terms? Is one question. The second question is the major issue in Indian cotton industry is the quality of Indian cotton, where the basis for the Indian cotton is very low compared to the basis of the Australian or West African or that of a Brazilian. But why is that basis for Indian cotton low? Is because the confidence, the trust, the brand value of Indian cotton is very low compared to that of other origins. One major concern is the contamination issue, which we have to raise it from the root level, where it is only possible with the help of central government. Contamination, education, awareness has to be provided to the farmers, because farmers do not get any benefit for not having contamination in the cotton.
Not good. Anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. The last thing is this continuing to this point is we need quality assessment boards in India, authenticating the quality, showing that.
Got it. I'm glad you raised this point. As regards the payment default, if you don't have an LC, you can at best take out a ECGC cover, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, which is like an insurance on your exports. Other than that, you should either not sell or you'll have to take the market risk. But if you take that ECGC cover, it's somewhat like an insurance. There are various schemes, some cover 60%, some now we've introduced a scheme for small exporters whose limits are below 20 crores, where they are ready to cover up to 90% of your export receivable. Of course, they need a credit report of your buyer and all of that process, paperwork has to be done. And you're from ECGC, so please connect with this boy afterwards. There's no supplementary parliament nahi hai. Please meet him afterwards. You've raised a good point about the quality. We are very seized of it. But let me tell you two comments before I give the response. A, God helps those who help themselves. Point one. And point two, IT industry in India and Hyderabad and Cyberabad and all are famous for it. The biggest success of India in recent times, because they kept government at bay. Kept government far away. What we have done is I have constituted a small advisory group led by Mr. Suresh Kotak, who's a doyen of the cotton trade. They are working very actively. I've personally had, now I've lost track how many meetings. In fact, most people have told me to reduce my meetings because they are tired of meeting me too often. But I'm personally helping bring all the various players together. I've asked the ginning people, the spinners, all of them to come together as a team so we can bring traceability. We are hopefully going to introduce blockchain and try and get the whole from the farm up to foreign. The 5F that Prime Minister Modi speaks of: farm, fabric, fiber, fabric, fashion, and foreign. The 5F. We're trying to bring a blockchain technology to have traceability, which will add value, which will really give Kasturi cotton, for example, we've introduced. But it has no resonance or value because there's no traceability and because we really don't have any grading, as you rightly said. My God, I'll become a technical textile guy gradually. Which is really Mr. Naravne's job from Welspun, not mine. But we are working on that. It can't happen overnight. I'm told that 20, 30 years ago, there used to be this traceability. Ginners used to pack cotton with separate farm being packed separately and marking was done. Over a period of time, that's all gone. We are trying to reintroduce that. I assure you that the industry people are working on it with great deal of passion. And I'm trying to keep out of it. If government gets into this picture, we are working as a supportive, facilitative role. But I don't want that another inspector or supervisor sits on this whole process. You will have more of a headache. So I'm trying to do that. I'm hopeful that this year we'll start in a small way, but in a year or two, hopefully 2-3 years, this will get established. And we've also talked to industry to try and create a brand for Indian cotton. Having said that, Australian cotton is of a much higher extra long staple, I think, ELSS.
No, it's same as Telangana cotton, sir. And the only
Maybe you may be right, but I'm informed that Indian cotton is about 29. 29.5. I'm sorry, I'm no expert. As I said, I'm a chartered accountant, poor little chartered accountant. But I'm not in the textile trade. Neither do I intend to be. but it's my job as textile minister, so I'm trying to learn. I'm told the Australian cotton is 32 to 34. So if Telangana is equally good, I think we'll need to put in some more effort from industry to categorize it, grade it, and bring in that traceability. Please engage with that advisory group and try and bring those processes in Telangana quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And
I said no supplementary.
The cotton is from the ginner side, I am from the spinner side. I want to make a cotton yarn. There is no cotton availability at the moment. For the last 6 months, spinning industry is struggling like anything. Even many mills have been closed partly or fully. So to that extent, initially government has given an import duty exemption and was extended till
Anyway, I'm aware of all that. The prices have already come down significantly. Cotton stock has started coming in the market for the last 15 days. That's an old issue you are raising. Up to 31st October, import was allowed duty-free. No more change in that. We'll go to the next question, please.
I think, sir, now please let us intervene. So, you know, what we can do is, sir, we can compile all the questions and we will share it to your office for... no, you know, if I give you a chance, we won't be able to hear the Honorable Minister. So I'm really sorry, but I have to hand it over to him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agarwal, for giving me this opportunity to meet with such a vibrant set of stakeholders from industry and business. Thank you very much. It was really very, very enjoyable engaging with all of you. Mr. Meela Jaydev, Mr. Srinivas Garimela, Mr. Suresh Kumar Singhal, Ms. Khyati Naravne, all the distinguished captains of industry, exporters, manufacturers, my colleagues from the Government of India, Mr. Rajiv Thakur, Additional Secretary in the Industry Department of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Srikar Reddy, Joint Secretary from the Commerce Department of Commerce and Industry, friends from the media, and more particularly all our young friends who have joined us today. Thank you very much for very, very engaging inputs, questions, issues, suggestions, and what did you say, Khyati? You added something else, and requests. I've come to the land of Ma Lakshmi soon after Diwali. And I'm sure the Bhagya Lakshmi temple bestows all their blessing, all her blessings, Lakshmi's blessings on all of you, your families, and your business. In fact, to my mind, the contribution of industry, business, and more particularly, if I may, exports, is going to define the future of India. We have to make India a manufacturing hub. The Make in India program is a very, very important element of our efforts. And you might have seen, and you must be all, many of you must be proud participants of the India international story, where we've, for the first time ever, done $675 billion of exports, 420 in goods and 254 in services. $675 billion export for the first time last year. Until September, we are at about 17% growth for the first 6 months. And we are hoping to end this year, 75 years of Indian independence, we are hoping to cross $750 billion. And that will be your effort. It will be your hard work. It will be your contribution. And these are only building blocks, foundational work, to really achieve the dream of 130 crore Indians articulated by Prime Minister Modi when he addressed the nation on 15th August, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, when we were celebrating. And I'm sure each one of you must have had in your home, in your factory, in your establishment, the Tiranga flying high. Har Ghar Tiranga. I'm sure you must have all participated. That's the strength of India, that the unity, the bonding, the togetherness, the oneness that we all represent. And when we all work in that same spirit of oneness, with a sense of duty. You remember the 5 pranj that Prime Minister Modi gave us on 15th August? The 5 commitments? Why do I see silence? Good one. Who said that? The 5 pran जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी ने दिए थे क्या थे? भारत को एक विकसित देश बनाना है, पुरानी जो कॉलोनियल माइंडसेट लेके जो हमारे पुराने जमाने के अंग्रेज और मुगल छोड़ के गए हैं, वैसे हैदराबाद को तो कुछ ज्यादा ही चिंता होनी चाहिए. यहाँ तो कुछ ज्यादा ही प्रभाव है अभी भी उस सल्तनत टाइप की थिंकिंग का. हाँ, निजाम का स्टेट था, पर वो निजामी अभी तक पूरी तरीके से गई नहीं है. मुझे लगता है 2 तारीख को कुछ देखने को मिलेगा और फिर अगले चुनाव में देखने को मिलेगा. That colonial mindset we have to remove, eradicate from our mind. He also spoke about going back to our roots. Bharat ki virasat, our heritage, tradition, culture, our value systems that we are all proud of. So see how he has juxtaposed. Get rid of the colonial mindset, bring back our rich traditions, our rich history. Because there's so much in our roots, so much to learn from our roots. And then he talked about unity. भारत को एकजुट और एकता में जोड़ना है सबको. तिरंगा यात्रा, the हर घर तिरंगा program, in a way was a demonstration of that. On the 31st, day after tomorrow, rather on Monday, we'll have another opportunity when we go for the run for unity. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel ka jo anniversary, birth anniversary hum celebrate karte hain with the run for unity. This year, there's going to be 75,000 programs all over the country in our 75th year as a fitting tribute to Sardar Patel. And I'm sure FTCCI will also be having their own run for unity. Please wake up in the morning and do that. We have to show the world our strength. Each one of you in your factory should be arranging a run for unity. Get all your employees, your workers, your stakeholders together. These are symbols which the world notices. And finally, which was the fifth prong? Anybody remembers? मुझे लगता है हमको क्लासरूम की तरह ड्रिल करते रहना पड़ेगा. So first was developed nation, Viksit Bharat. Second was remove your colonial mindset. And Hyderabad needs that lesson more than anybody else. Third was go back to your roots. Fourth was unity in the nation, Ekta or Ekjutta. Fifth was the most important tenet, most important principle, sense of duty, कर्तव्य भावना. हमारे मित्र ने जो कॉटन की बात की, दूसरे मित्र ने चावल की बात की और फार्मर्स की इनकम बढ़ाओ, क्वालिटी सुधारो, प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ाओ. महेश भाई ने कुछ अच्छे बातें की. आपने एक अच्छा पॉइंट हमें फ्लैग ऑफ किया. हमारी कमी रही है, आई एम सॉरी कि अभी तक वो सॉर्ट आउट नहीं हुआ. ये हम सबकी ड्यूटी है. आप अपनी ड्यूटी निभा रहे हो. आप जब सवाल उठाते हो तो बिलीव मी, आई एम नॉट डूइंग यू अ फेवर बाय लिसनिंग टू यू. It's my duty. When you are raising a point, it's your duty to raise these points. Your duty to your stakeholders, your duty to your employees, your duty to contribute to making India a developed nation. And therefore I enjoy interacting with you more than I enjoy giving you a speech. The media friends, they are doing their duty. Of course, when I am running away, going away from here for my next program, they'll also have to run behind me. But I'm already running very late today, so I won't take too much of your time. But I'm so glad that all of you are passionate about your work. You recognize the importance of quality. And I think that is going to define India as we move towards a developed nation, as we all work with this sense of duty. And believe me, that's the most important message Prime Minister Modi gave on 15th August. ये 130 करोड़ लोगों की सामूहिक कर्तव्य है. It's our collective duty. And when 130 crore Indians take one step forward, the country takes 130 crore steps forward. You come from a land which gave us our first domestic indigenous vaccine against COVID. While that may be business, but I think it was also a sense of duty that prompted them to work day and night passionately and find a solution to the biggest crisis mankind has faced in 100 years. And I can tell you, friends, I am a proud recipient of the Covaxin that Bharat Biotech produced. And my whole family took Covaxin. And when we had the choice, everybody had a choice. My wife and I were deliberating when we first went in for our vaccine shot. And we became eligible. So we were thinking, Consale, my wife took the decision, as do all wives, of course. See, there's consensus in the room. And her logic and her argument was that बचपन से हमने और हमारे बच्चों ने भारत बायोटेक की वैक्सीन ली है, जरूर अच्छी होगी. ये भारत की क्षमता है. This is our strength. But friends, what is our duty? Our duty is that we support each other. If one person produces something in India which another person can use, it is his duty, instead of importing, to use what is produced in India. Our friends in the cocoa industry very well articulated their anguish that they have to still import cocoa beans. I loved it. That's duty. That's duty towards the country. We want to save that 2,000 crores of foreign exchange. Of course, we have our constraints, the climate and our ability or inability to produce more. There'll be certain constraints also along the way. And we'll certainly talk to finance and see what can be done to resolve the issue that you have raised. But हम सबकी सामूहिक ड्यूटी क्या है? अगर हम एक दूसरे को सपोर्ट करेंगे तब मेक इन इंडिया सक्सेसफुल होगा, तब भारत में अपॉर्चुनिटीज बनेंगी. आखिर आप सोचिए, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 2-3 दिन पहले एक सुझाव दिया था. आई डोंट नो इफ एनी ऑफ यू हर्ड इट और लिसन टू हिज रीसेंट स्पीच. 2-3 days back, during Diwali, Prime Minister Modi had said that, and you know, so much work is happening all over the country to promote tourism. I don't know if any of you has had a chance to go and see the Kashi Vishwanath Mandir, which has been rejuvenated. And it's really a sense of pride with which we have rejuvenated the Kashi Vishwanath Mandir, which at some point of time the invaders had destroyed. Just like Somnath Mandir was rejuvenated by Sardar Patel in 47. I wish the country had a few more Sardar Patels. We would not have had any reminiscent of the colonial and the Mughal era left in the country. We've just seen the rejuvenation of Mahakal Mandir in Indore. And all of this work happening all over this country is bringing a lot of tourism. A lot of people are traveling all over the country, both within the country and from other countries to India. What did the Prime Minister suggest? That whatever is our travel budget, when we go to any of these places, whatever is our budget during the whole trip, can we all pledge to spend only 5% of that? Only 5%. To buy a locally produced product. You know, we have that one district, one product plan, ODOP plan. Almost every district in India is a proud producer of one or the other product. Length and breadth of the country, nearly 735-40 districts have been mapped across the country. And now with that thrust being given to those products, we are finding innovative things going abroad. Some lychee from Bihar, some giant pineapple from Tripura, all of these things are going all across the world now. After the one district, one product. But they are handicrafts, handlooms, khadi products. Our weavers come up with such beautiful textile products. Our artisans come up with such beautiful handicraft products. There might be certain specialities, like I think there is a black rice somewhere. It's a speciality, local speciality. आपकी एक तेलंगाना में एक मिर्ची होती है, एक बड़ी तीखी मिर्ची होती है. हाँ. Spices mein you have done wonderful work. Turmeric you are doing outstanding. So every place has its own unique identity. If each one of us decides that wherever we go, suppose you are going to Badrinath, Kedarnath to see the wonderful rejuvenation that has happened over there, and the Adi Shankaracharya statue that has been set up over there. I think every one of us, if we only was to decide 5% of our budget will use for domestically made, locally produced goods during our travels, believe me, you will be serving the nation, helping people in remote parts of India, less privileged sections, get a good value for their produce and increase their incomes. I'm only reminding you of this because Prime Minister Modi very often keeps giving these small, subtle messages to all of us. If only we would take that seriously and help each other, support each other, it can have transformational results for the country. And with that sense of duty towards an Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-sufficient, self-reliant, self-confident India, engaging with the rest of the world. We on our part are trying to do FTAs, give better trading arrangements, give newer and newer schemes. I'm trying to get RODTEP reinstated or brought in for pharma. We are all working in our own way, but it will need all of your blessings, your support, your active participation, so that we can truly make a difference to the future of India, make India a developed nation. I've noted all the points that you had, ideas, suggestions, requests that you have given. I thought I'll respond, but I'm getting signals that next program already I'm very, very late. But thank you so much for coming in such a big number on a short notice. I think it was 2 days back it was decided. Thank you very much. May God bless you and your families and give you all success. Thank you.
Come. Sir, but there's a story behind this, you know. This is a Cherial painting and there are only 5 families which are now surviving in the whole of Telangana.
So what you do is
we've given this Diwali gift to everyone.
Oh, that's a very good gesture. Keep it in your office as a remembrance for today's program.
Yeah. No, we won't take it.
Getting very late. I'll read it.
Thank you so much.
I'll send.
मैं उसके साथ में जाना था